You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows like the one you're about to enjoy, visit electronicmediacollective.com. And now, our feature presentation.
I'm the man, and the man feels no pressure. I am the man that everyone fears.
You are now entering the vicious circle.
You are facing a fuel-injected suicide machine!
I'm the man. When I walk, the ground shakes. I am the master. I am the ruler of the world. They have been waiting below the surface. Shake the earth of these giants. Shake the earth of these giants.
And welcome to the Vicious Circle. Sid, how's it been?
Man, I am still stopped up, Rob. I'm on my second round of antibiotics. I finished my third steroid pack, and I am still congested. Now, I talked to, I wanted to choke this girl today. Called me, was telling me, I think I'm a long hauler. I've been like this for 6 or 7 months. I can't now hear out of my ear. I'm still stopped up on every medication in the world, and it's just miserable, dude. I've told you, like 2 in the morning, I get up, I cannot breathe, I start panicking, and it's just all over. I mean, I can't stop. I'm on 2 types of nasal sprays. That's prescription stuff, and then on Claritin, and that's the only things I can really take. And I am not been unstopped up now for what going on 6, 7 months. I wish I could say it was from all the coke I used to do.
There you have a reason, right?
Well, it wasn't coke; it was the heroin. But
Oh.
that's what I preferred. If I was going to go out there, I wanted to go all out. Remind me one time of Herman Munster. He was doing a dancing class, and he told the guy, he said, "Don't freak now, baby. I'm too far out."
I love that show. Oh,
I
man.
know, right? Don't freak now, baby. I'm too far out.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
That's
Well,
awesome shit.
I know people here have missed you because you've been out without internet for a bit, too.
Well, Rob, I'm listening to what you tell me about this podcast stuff. You're saying that we've got these in the can, that this live stuff really no one cares about, that this watch it on Sundays. So I thought, who cares,
Oh, yeah.
Never thought I was actually going to be missed.
Oh, yeah, look at this. Even Pam. Sid, I missed you.
All right. I
Even
missed you too, Pam.
Bryce, Sid. And, of course, our buddy Nathan's here. Good day,
Hey,
guys.
Nathan. What's going on, buddy?
Yes. Oh, Nathan, the shirts. He actually asked about getting a shirt made for his son.
Right.
And I got the info. You can order one. He can do a special one for him. It'll be about the same price as a normal shirt, though. So you just let me know if you want that.
Right.
Let me see. Edwin here says, Sid, could you please wish my 7-year-old Damien a happy birthday today? I'm a fan from day one and has seen your videos. Now is hooked.
Damien, happy birthday, young man.
Yeah, a 7-year-old brand new fan. That's awesome.
All right. That's an awesome deal. 7-year-old fan. Grow up and be like Sid Vicious, and you'll be asked never to come to another household.
See, gotta have a goal.
See,
right?
you get the perks come with being Sid.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey, dude, is that 7-year-old kid? Is he scared of me?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, because kids are like elephants, everyone. I like looking at them. I just don't want to own one. Just kidding. That was a W.C. Fields quote. But no, kids are really weird with me. They either really like me or they're scared to death of me, And usually I can stare a kid down, but when you can't, it's one of those kids, But
Yeah.
I can sometimes make kids cry just by looking at them.
Oh.
And I'll give you a story. Steve Bill. All right, I'm scared. Yeah, I bet you are, Dr. Steele. So this buddy of mine, he said, I was just in town for a day or so. We were all going out to go spotlighting on a four-wheeler. So I was going to Walmart. Walmart was about to close. So he comes by here. I only have like one day a year off to do something, right? And so I'm trying to get to Walmart for the closing. Bill, his name, he says, man, he goes, could you come by? My son's down at my father and mother-in-law's. And we want you to come down and see our son. I said, Bill, your son's 3 months old. He's got not a clue who I am. Man, but would you please? I said, Walmart. And I was like, yeah, let's go. So I go down there and we walk in and the kid sees me and just freezes. And as soon as I touch him, he just starts screaming. So I got him. The grandparents are trying to get him back from me. I'm going, no, I come here to see this kid. And the kid's screaming. That's pretty good.
Bet you he grows up to work at a meat cabinet.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh, Andy here said, Sid, kick yourself off, sign back up for picking on kids.
No kidding, Andy. Kick myself off.
Edwin got back. He said, no, he isn't. But
now, I'll tell you,
doesn't
here's another bad kid story since we're on bad kid stories. Same person, too, Bill. Now, it was his sister or his niece or something had a baby. We're all on the lake. No, their boat dies, and I don't know that. I thought they were just sitting out there, in the lake like everybody was. And so what we did, we had these jet ski things, and you go by somebody's boat, and you could fill their boat up in a matter of seconds. Now, me and Byron, who's my best friend, we're doing this to them. We're trying to get their boat with so much water they're going to sink, right? And they're not moving, so we don't realize that they're like waving at us to stop, right? And I've always said I'm one of those people that don't know when to stop, right? So I don't. And I'm like my kid Frank, who always got in trouble kept on with that stupid joke that everybody would finally stop laughing at, but he wouldn't stop laughing, right? He always laughs at that 2 turtle joke, believe that or not.
Really?
Yeah, he laughs at that every time. Every time I tell him that. But so again, I wanted to what was I saying there, Rob?
Jet ski.
Oh yeah, jet ski. So they're waving arm stuff, and I go, "What's going on?" They're like, "You," those probably throttled down. "You assholes, we've got a baby on board." We're oh man. Now after that, I don't know why I'm saying this story. So we're leaving. We're trying to get out of there, right? And get back to our truck, put our jet skis on the truck, and get out of there. Well, we go through this little narrows, the lily pads, and there's this old man and woman. I say, oh, they were like 60 back then. And I was like 38. So we could see the old girl was bent over doing a little business to dude, right? We came, as soon as we got right beside, we tilted over, and she looked up, and she got a face full of seaweed, man. That was so funny, man. Oh, then time we got to our truck, the cops were there. They tried to arrest me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, don't grow up to be internet Sid, everyone.
No.
I took a day of the lake and made hell of it.
Made it sound like fun, actually.
It was fun, man.
Let me see. But yeah, Edwin, he said his son doesn't like John Cena.
Well, he's a midget. An oversized midget. He does look a little bit like a midget. Not there's anything wrong with midgets. I love, and I really do, Rob. I mean this. I did a deal one time in a stupid independent pay-per-view in Quebec, Canada, Montreal, Canada one time. And I got this cast of characters, and one of them was a midget, and I called him my little time traveler. And I had this like 4-minute promo I did with him, which was real cool. But I love entourages, and I was able to do. I had a midget, Miss America, all this, and what it was, I was Genghis Khan. When I came over and conquered people, I would take their women, their kings, and I'd parade them around before I killed them all. So that was like my little entourage, and so we killed people, but it was pretty cool.
That is awesome. I'm not sure. You might know Sally Brooks because she said,
Yeah.
if he looks up like you, he's going to have to come to Mississippi and let me feed him.
Yeah, that's my friend, my cousin Sally down. I just talked to her. She knew someone today. They lost to COVID, 59 years old.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Still hate hearing that.
I do too, man. Over 500,000 now.
Yeah, so that's scary. Kyle says, hi, guys. Your buddy Kyle from Green Bay, Wisconsin.
All right, man.
Oh, and even, hi, Sid. Great honor to meet you.
All right.
Yes, I'm thinking he's from Puerto Rico because he has that symbol on his.
I see that. Hey, it's
Yeah.
an honor to meet you too, Ricky.
Let's see here. Oh, and Sean here from England says, get well, Sid. Take care. Best wishes from London, England. Myself and Minnie love your podcast.
Thanks, Sean.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
And
Is it Christmas time? It looks like everybody's got Christmas stuff in the backgrounds.
that's, I think, because of all the snow, they just thought, well, it's Christmas, right?
Yeah, is it still Christmas?
Feels like it.
Hey, I don't have the pink cup tonight.
No, I noticed that. I got my iced tea though. Can't stop me with my iced tea.
That's what I got, Rob. I made my own tea now. I'm still juice. I'm having flavored tea without sugar.
Yep, that's it. I actually have a Splenda in mine.
I've got a spoon of sugar or two in mine.
Perfect.
Just a little bit.
Let me see here. Terry said, I have an 8-year-old daughter and 7-year-old son. I showed them how you were because of this podcast on WWE Network. And my daughter said, is he Undertaker and Kane's other brother? And I said, I wish them three would have taken over.
Yeah, that would have been a good threesome there. Well, we did. We sort of, our careers, he came in and took over for me when I had my lung surgery. And everybody, for some reason, thought him and I were tag team partners. We never were. He actually came in and took over for me that time I got hurt. But yeah, that'd been a pretty good 3-people match or a 6-man tag or something.
That would have been cool.
Okay, speaking of tag matches in wrestling, did you see AEW last night?
I watched it.
What do you think?
There was 2 good shows or 2 good matches.
Uh-huh.
I like the first one with John Moxley and what was his name?
The surfer guy?
Yeah. Hollywood Hunk Ryan Memo.
Hollywood, right. Yeah.
I thought that was really nicely done.
Yeah.
And the other one was the last one with Archer and Ray Phoenix.
Yeah. You know what I was hoping on that one? This is, I'm not old school, Rob, but this is the old school in me a little bit. I would like to see that really a good match for 2 people from so different styles. I was hoping it would have went to time limit and they both went to a draw. Because you don't see that anymore.
No.
And the thing about that was one of the probably better matches I've seen like that in a long time, especially with that size difference. People might have called that the best match of the year if that would have went to the time limit, Rob.
It was.
See, they're not thinking there. They had an opportunity to do that. And what did I say about this business? If you could take it back, that would have been able to take it back to ground zero because those guys could have pulled that off. But you'll never be able to do that again.
Yeah. And yeah, you're right, though. I always consider it so hard to go back kayfabe style, but you're right. This would have been the closest they ever could have come.
Right. They could have said, man, hold on a minute. Rob, I guarantee you, because I did this as a wrestling fan. No, I wasn't a wrestling fan. I did this going to wrestling school. I went to Coliseum one time, watched the matches, and I saw Jimmy Valiant wrestle Sonny King, and the deal was a DQ. Jimmy Valiant jumped Sonny King before the bell rang, and I said, you know what? That had to be real because good guys don't like to lose. I already knew the prima donna stuff. What it was is Jimmy was such a bad worker, he had to have matches like that to sort of get through a run there,
Yeah. Yvonne says Hollywood Hunk is a similar version of Dolph Ziggler, and that could very well be true because that's his brother.
That's what somebody was telling me last night, that they thought that was his brother.
Yep. Where is it here? Brian said, Sid, did you ever face Paul White, the Big Show, when you were both in WCW?
No, I never did. I only met him one time in the airport one time. Seemed like a really nice guy.
He's coming back now, I guess.
Yep. That's something to tell Rob. I think right now, where I've been hard on AEW. They had a pretty good show last night, and they're making some pretty cool calls right now, even though it's sort of stupid too, but hot shot like that, just one week after another, barbed wire explosion matches. That's again like the old Memphis territory, grease pole matches, blowed up. Just where do you go after that? Now you got 2 territories fighting. I mean, but it's still fun to watch. I did watch a little of NXT this week just to see. The thing about NXT, that to me was their best show that I saw as well. And everything was perfect. There was nothing out of place. And you could go on from the first second of that show AEW and say, here's a negative, here's a bad, there's a dread. From honestly, I seem like I hate this guy, I like this guy. But as soon as Jim Ross says something, there's a dread. I'm not saying that to be mean. I mean that. Last night, every video they had of him, I was like, oh my God. Well, you don't want to feel sorry for someone. I hate saying that. It's just so many dreads. That is going to, not that alone is going to take them down, but when you see that from beginning to end, and again, where you had a chance to make some people go, I think that last match was real. You didn't take that off. Now, what should have done right there? This would have happened if someone like Bam Bam Bigelow had been in that match. And I'm not taking away from any one of these guys. He would have called that, said, let's go Broadway. He would have known that. And that's why when I tell people that Bigelow to me was one of the greatest minds and workers in this business, and I'll take that to my grave. He could do everything anyone else could do and do it better. And he knew how to sell and everything, psychology. And he took all the blame if the match wasn't any good. He was just that kind of workhorse. If that would have been Bam Bam Bigelow, he would have called that, said, let's do this Broadway. And that's the downside. So I don't know if they couldn't make that call. That would have been you would only know it being there to do that, and that would have been, a tough one to make on your own.
See, the only one that didn't appeal to me for that whole show was Jack Hager versus
Brian
Cutler.
Yeah, that was a downfall. I mean, it just wasn't a good. I think they worked hard and got the best out of what you could. I did not like the Britt Baker match with man. I'm telling you. Now, honestly, I love seeing Alea Jack, whatever her name is, beat up girls. It's like the Andy Kaufman thing, but you don't beat your number one heel. And then she tried so hard to be a baby face, where she's a monster. I thought it would not hurt, in my opinion, it would not hurt Jack to even put her over with that move, because the way she sold that shoulder, I thought that's what they were going to do. And that they should have done. And now that, to me, turned out to be horrible for both people. It put Brittany, what's her name? You can't beat a working heel like that. Something's happened there, but it didn't do anything for anyone, that match. It didn't put Jack up, and it didn't bring Brittany up, or whatever his name, Britt Baker. So it was, again, a horrible match, because that Jack person, I want to see. He reminds me of Big Bertha. And I'm telling you something, and I've seen a lot of guys come to the curtain to watch people work. They watch Bertha because, man, she knew how to get over, dude. She was a bumper, dude. You remember her? She was tough. And I mean, when the guys come to the curtain to watch something, it's got to be pretty good.
Yeah, exactly.
So she could have been like that, but she wasn't. Again, it's just, oh man. But that's what you're supposed to do as an agent, is don't let that happen.
That's good. Christopher's got a question. Hey, Sid, what's your thoughts on Bobby Lashley? Heard he could win the title against Miz.
I've seen Bobby a long time, never met the guy. I think he looks great. He works good. I mean, he's good. I don't know. I think they should put something on him. He looks to me like you can trust the guy. He always seems to be not someone you can't get along with. All the good criteria to get behind someone and give him a good push. He's got the look. He's real aggressive. I like his work.
Nice. Tom says, "Hey Sid, it's good to have you back."
Hey Tom, thanks.
He's just catching up, apparently.
Right.
Let me see here. Dean, our buddy overseas, he says, "We seen vintage Sting. Funny thing is, the highlights are more viewed than the rest of the show. What does that tell you?"
I know. This is the thing is, I thought Sting, speaking of Sting, I thought it was his best outing for me. He came out. I didn't see the last week when they powerbombed him, but he came out, did a little something. It went good. Even though the other stuff was sort of corny, the vignette pulling him down the road, the other stuff coming down, that doesn't excite me, but it does excite the wrestling fans. So that was pretty cool. That ended on maybe their best positive note. I think. But the only thing about that, Rob, for me, trying to critique something, what you do that match now, this is going to help your buy rate. You just took all the heat off the heels. You chased them off. You should have left with that extra heat, and then beat those guys the week after the pay-per-view on TV. That's how you get people over, right?
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. Edwin actually has a question. Sid, may I ask, do you really watch much wrestling these days?
I've been watching on Wednesday nights because we started this wrestling poll and watching the shows. One thing, and I tell people one thing, I've been watching AEW, and I wish COVID wouldn't have happened because I'm still baffled by the way they were able to sell out. And I've heard there's different stories that they had those shows bought for those, and that's why they sold out. Because right before COVID hit, their houses started dropping dramatically. I'd like to see how long they could have sustained that type of drawability, because that's what I was predicting, and because I can't say now they say it's because of COVID, but we'll see when things open back up.
Exactly. That'll be the true test again.
Well, Rob, I feel I'm looking at everything. I don't think it's going to be as easy a success for people coming back at first because people are still staying away. But when everybody does feel safe, I think it'll benefit everyone. Business will be good again, I think.
Oh, I do too, at least for 3 or 4 months, because people.
Yeah.
I
think, Rob, I think you can honestly say Rob, this really it could be the thing that starts wrestling back to be what it was. You've taken it away. Now you can go back to it. Of course, it sounds like I know everything. This is the time to set that all up, not throw it all for free right now. So
let's see here.
And there's something too I've noticed about wrestling. I want people to comment about this. I noticed on both shows that everybody on both shows are juicing now. Did you notice everybody looked bigger? There was one guy, the guy with the blonde hair for NXT. I don't know his name. He's like acting like a cyborg or something.
I don't watch NXT.
Yeah, okay. Well, and I've only seen him a couple times, but he's pretty cool. I've only seen him a couple times. He does weird stuff, but he's like, I don't know. He's like the Terminator or something, right? He's got this weird stare. But after he beat the guy, he had the guy, and he was in some sitting position. His tits were hanging down. They were like two big bitch tits. I hate to say that word, but that's the slang word for that term. Yeah. But I said, dude, somebody's juicing. And then I noticed everybody's juicing in both companies. So that's usually a sign business is about to get good again.
Yeah, they're prepping.
Right.
Let me see. Terry has a question. I saw some pictures recently of you hanging out with Tank Abbott before his liver transplant. Was he cool with the other guys, or did everybody think he was a loose cannon? I always loved watching him fight. He truly didn't care about divisions, just fighting. Yeah,
he did. No, he was really, man, pretty cool. I remember it was weird. Me and him and Brian Knobs at TVs, you had all days to kill. So we ended up going uptown to sit down at some restaurant and have something nice to eat. And we were talking, we were asking how he trained. He talked to how he went to Mexico, had to spend 2 years there boxing, and how hard it is to learn all those disciplines. And so he seemed like a really cool guy and everything. And then, you heard that he might be a loose cannon and a little crazy acting. Well, like everybody was sort of scared to put themselves on the line there. It seemed like because they're afraid they might, get themselves in a bad position with this guy. Well, they put me in an angle with him where somehow I got hurt or something. And I guess, now he's working with me on a Monday night Nitro. And so I come to my hotel room and I'm checking in, and he's down at the hotel bar. And he starts screaming out my name like he's going to kill me. I was thinking, oh my God. And I was like, shit, I said, not me, man. And I found out I was working with him the next day. I said, oh God.
Oh no. But how did the match go?
It went really good. He was really, we didn't do a lot, but he never got flustered. That's a big deal. I mean, I don't care who you are, man. You get in there, you're working. But he did a good job. He didn't make any mistakes. You know, he didn't do anything great, but a real nice guy.
Nice. Victor has a question. This question is for Sid. How do you get your fried chicken looking so crispy? Thanks for the food pictures.
Man, there's a couple of ways. First, it's that one is this. I'm never going to do it again, but you have to soak that crap in buttermilk for like a day or so in seasoning. And then once you flour it, then you have to let it sit another hour or so where that stuff crusts on. But it was worth it a little bit. That's what you do. So check it out on the Food Channel, dude. Get off my show.
Well, there we go. Pam even says Internet Sid is awesome.
There you go. Yeah. Wow.
CC says, Rob, careful with too much iced tea. You know it can cause kidney stones, right?
Oh shit. Me too. I just went back to. I'm out of it, CC. This is my last cup. I got one cup left. No, I just went back to the caffeinated tea, but she's right. You know, I heard a lady talking on the radio last year. My dog had swallowed a pacifier and had to have a $4,000 surgery to get it out. And I had taken this university in Mississippi to do it. And so I was riding to Guinea one day. I heard this lady talking about that very thing about things, what we drink. She said, well, anything of color is always bad for you. So if you're going to drink something, be sure it's like something clear. She said, but really, just drink water. I was like, oh, who do you talk about? You talk about the Juice King, just water?
That's not, no.
No, I haven't had juice, Rob, in months.
Really?
I swear, man. I went by it today with confidence.
That is great.
Yeah.
Because I know, trust me.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
One of my weaknesses is ice cream.
Oh, I got a gallon in there. I haven't had any.
Not if I was there. See, that's the problem I have. Okay.
Well, see, I bought a gallon of that, and I bought a couple of pies, and I was going to give myself a piece and give the rest to Sabrina and her mom, but I ended up giving them both to them. I just didn't want to. And I had the ice cream, so it's just sitting in there. I wonder what everybody's weighing right now, Rob, because I know when I weighed last Friday, it was a 261, and that week I started at 269. So I lost 8 pounds to that point. I'm confident tomorrow I'm going to be in the 250s.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like, I was already here. I don't know what it is. I feel like I'm losing weight just sitting here. My metabolism is so, all the exercise and the eating properly. And right now I just don't have an appetite. So I like to tell you, all I had was a bowl of mini wheats, peanut butter jelly sandwich, and then I had a serving of salmon and a sweet potato, and that's it.
That's good. Yeah.
So now I've got another I'll probably have another sweet potato, another piece of salmon after the show. But man, it seems like when I'm like this, you can't taste. It's easier to diet, Like today, I walked to the store. Today too, man. The store looked like it was. I'd never seen a store so empty in my whole life.
Really?
The only way I would have eaten chicken today is I would have cut it up myself, and I just wasn't doing that today. So I got salmon, but they didn't have nothing in Walmart. It is shut down because all the snow stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was going to do my chicken stuff because I really feel like I'm ready back to get to that part of my diet where it's just baked chicken, cabbage, and peas. I really think and I know that works for me. And talking to Hamilton, I'm gonna try to get him to come on the show sometime. He knows a lot about that. He said that's the thing about we want to have things that we're eating that we don't want it to taste so good that we want to eat it again. We want it to taste good enough that we went, wow, that was satisfying.
Yeah.
And I've said that about that combination of food. The baked chicken is about you do what you want, put what you want on that. And then the peas always carry flavor, and the cabbage is something that takes on flavor too. If it's just a little onion, garlic, and I always use a little bit of bacon, which is the bad part. But if you look at one piece of bacon or two pieces, and one in the peas and one in the thing, that's 2 pieces for 5 days. That's not a lot of bacon.
No.
You know what I mean? So I'm getting 10 meals or 7 or 8 meals out of that thing. Depending how I eat.
And that's good.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Terry said unsweetened. Oh, he's talking about the iced tea. Unsweetened as well. I thought tea leaves were one of the more healthy drinks you can drink in the world. I quit
I-
sugar tea, but still like hot or unsweetened with lemon.
Right. This is the thing is, there's no two sides to tea. One, they say it's got as many antioxidants as broccoli or things like that. And then it's the caffeine, what it is, everyone. And I saw a deal years ago. It was on actually the inflammatory Celebrex or Vioxx. And the reason they took that off the market is because of the caffeine. And so when they talked about that, they talked about all the things that had caffeine and how bad it was. Believe it or not, almost every sleep medication has got a form of caffeine in it. Yeah. So
weird.
it's weird, isn't it? So again, it does. Like my doctor told me, he says, he always asks me, "Are you drinking tea?" Because he doesn't want me to. Even he said, even decaffeinated tea is bad. So I do feel bad about this.
Really?
Yeah, he said
what I
that's a
have.
heart doctor. That's a heart doctor.
I have decaf.
Me too. I got decaf cold brew,
Hmm.
and yeah, and he said even that is what it is. Even decaffeinated coffee, there's still caffeine there, even though they've taken some out. And if you drink it, especially in the volume you and I drink it, Rob, then it becomes bad for you. Just that simple.
That makes sense. And it's
Yeah.
true. It's called decaffeinated. It's not called caffeine free.
Right.
So okay. I see the loophole there.
Right.
Rondell. Hey buddy. What's
Hey,
up,
Rob.
Robin Sid? Glad to see you're back. I have a question for you. How do you feel on loudmouth garbage talking Jim Cornette? Well, we know how Rondell feels.
Well, thing is, I don't know. It seems like Jim is a really bitter person. He always seemed like that, even when he was doing well in the business. I remember when I first met him, it was when I first went to WCW. He was managing whoever then. But he seemed like a real professional and stuff like that. But I think he's one of those people that maybe took himself a little too serious. I know he loves the business, and I love that. I do. I don't love anything about him. I do respect that about him. His passion for the business.
Yeah.
You got to give that to him. And I do. I tell you what, and I don't like or dislike the guy, but I would probably fight for him because of his passion for this business. Because I don't have that kind of passion for the business. I didn't get into business other than for the financial part of it. I wasn't a wrestling, but I never watched wrestling. So I do respect people like Jim who dedicated their whole lives to this and have done a damn good job at everything they've done at it. And, he is a little outspoken.
Okay, here we got Jeremy saying, "Nice shirt that you're wearing, Sid."
Thanks, Jeremy.
What is that? I see a
It's
wolf.
what it is. My wife gets me these things. There's all like shirts that like this was some type of probably a hockey team or something like a B League hockey team. So you can get on these. It's called eBay Sports. You get these shirts when they're going out of season for like $5.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, this is one of my glow in the dark shirts.
Oh, is it?
Yep. I told you I'd wear it, and I finally remembered accidentally, I guess. But yeah,
Oh, all
I got
right.
this about 6 years ago, and it still looks great, still glows in the dark. So
Wow, cool.
plugging that a bit. There was. Oh, Brian asks, Sid, who was your favorite opponent to wrestle?
Well, I just said it, Bigelow. It was, but there's I always say the same guys, Bigelow, Vader. They both were just workhorses. And then it was always fun to work with Sean, Sting. Uh, just a few people that I said I didn't enjoy it. But probably again Bigelow.
Yeah, I love the matches you had with Bigelow.
A lot of people were jealous of him. I tell you what thing was funny about him too was like during meetings, I don't even know who I'm working with, so I don't know anything about the company. Don't care. I just want to get paid. But so like when we'd had these meetings and we weren't getting paid, and Vince was okay. We know things are bad. We're trying to get you guys your money and stuff like that. But we have airfare and things like that. And Bigelow's, yeah, but don't you own the flight, the agency, the flight agency? He goes, yeah. So it's like, you'd always call Vince out. He goes, yes, Scotty, I do. But it was always funny during meetings like that. Scotty he wouldn't pull any punches, man.
That's awesome. Edwin says your interviews back in the day were legendary. You had us believing you were truly crazy. I would have loved you and Vader on a long run with the belts.
No, we had a chance to work with Vader, against Vader. He was so fun to work with. The only thing about working with him in Bigelow, it was weird. When I was working with it was like I was never moving because they were so big, It's just like, it was just, but they were moving as fast as they could, but it just didn't seem like, you work Sting or Shot, it's like bing, 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 and then it's like, oh, get on, go.
Oh, man. Okay, let's see here. Oh, they're talking about drinks here. CC said, Sid, herbal tea is not caffeinated, so it's win-win-win.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah, no, but then Jeremy said, water does a body good.
No, Jeremy's 100% correct on that.
Kevin says, switch to beer.
Hey, I'm all for that too. I talked to someone the other day. I'm gonna try to get him on the show one night. Everybody remembers that kid who wasn't a kid. He's 40-something years old. Had Down syndrome. Used to stay with me a lot. Oh, Seth.
Yep.
He called me the other day. I talked to him yesterday.
That's awesome.
So we're gonna get him on the show somehow one night.
Oh, wicked. That'd be very cool.
Yeah.
Cece said, I adore how honest Sid is. And yeah, that's you never have to wonder what you're thinking.
Right.
That is cool. Let me see here. Terry said, I see all the veggies and protein. Are you just not much of a fruit guy?
I am. This is the thing is, when you're dieting, now I use my fruit for snacks, and right now I'm not eating a lot of fruit. I burn myself out during the summer on fruits, and my fruits are usually watermelon, cantaloupe. I got some tangerines in there. I used to eat apples all day, but I'm burned out on them right now. But I like apples. I like grapes. I like watermelon. Watermelon and cantaloupe, everyone, is higher in vitamin C than an orange. And vitamin C is a natural diuretic. So right before I'd go running sometime, I would just eat, bowls and bowls of watermelon and cantaloupe, and then go out there and just dehydrate everything. Man, I love my fruit. And I used to, in the day, I would start every meal with a big bowl of fruit. And I did that 6 times a day. So that was a lot of fruit, dude. My wife made me a bowl like this big for every meal. And this is what it is, why you do that. Fruit only becomes bad for you when you eat it after you eat your food, because then that fruit stays on top of your solid food, and then your body can pull the simple sugars we don't want from fruit. You eat it first or by itself, it digests so quickly, like an apple, for instance. It takes almost as many calories to digest that apple that are in that apple. So it's like you could almost eat apples,
And Cece says, fruit equals sugars.
That's it. Fruit is sugars, however. That's the thing, and believe it or not, sugar, and I hate saying this, sugar might be as bad as caffeine for us in the long haul,
Because it speeds up your metabolism too.
Yeah.
Cece said, kiwi is the highest in vitamin C and has calcium, just FYI.
That's something I've never been a big fan is kiwi.
Me either.
Me too. I don't know what about it is.
It's the look.
Yeah, it's a look, man. I like sweet oranges, man. Give me sweet oranges.
Yep.
I'm gonna tell you something. Back in the day, my grandfather had an orange tree and a grapefruit tree in his yard there in Florida, and he would take those oranges. He would squeeze them. Then he would freeze, squeeze them and put in bags and freeze them. When I'd come in, he would take one out for me, let it thaw, and I'd have that when I come in. Like a cold slush. You talking about good, man?
That would be very good.
That was really good. You know what they did in Florida, Rob? This is what's weird. If you had an orange tree in your yard, they came and cut it down because it was competing with the Florida market. Can you imagine that?
But it's on your own property.
Right? I know, man.
Jeez. Terry said, I heard DDP say you should never eat fruit after midday, but I love the stuff. No,
I do too. And if you're active like I was when I was eating all that fruit, it didn't do me. It did me good, and it was fuel. And I'm burning it up, though, guys. And back in that day, I'm working out 7 hours a day. I needed that fruit and that stuff. So, but no, it's good, but it's sugars, like CC said.
Yeah. CC then said, when is he saying to eat it? First thing in the morning?
Yeah, I say so.
Yeah. Well, no, she was referring to DDP.
Oh yeah.
I heard DDP say you should never eat fruit after midday. So that's when he said, when is he saying to eat it? You know?
Listen, I mean, nothing against DDP, but shut up. You know what you're talking about. Fruit's good or bad anytime you eat it. Okay, we know it's good for you. We like it, and it's got sugars. So if you eat it in the morning or afternoon, it's good or bad. DDP, you're off the show. Sign back up.
You you basically just have to make sure it's before a heavy meal and not afterwards.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, if you're right, a lot of us right now, I think 2 of us in the contest, just kidding. Right now, we're trying to stay away from fruit. And whoever asked that question, stop asking that question. Enough about fruit.
CC said, yeah, I'd have them arrested cutting down on my plants on my property. That's despicable.
I know, CC. I tell you, that was something I really hated that because I enjoyed that coming in. You know, if they're in Florida, you always, they never had a little window air conditioner because it always rained in the afternoons. I'd come in from a workout. I'd have that orange juice, man, the ceiling fan, and just take that nap during the rain. Those were good times. And then after that, there was no orange juice. So I took a sleeping pill.
Sleep this one out.
Yeah, I'll sleep this one out.
Nope. Pam like that. Sid banned DDP from the show.
Yeah, DDP. Did he actually come on the show? If he is, get him off of here.
I haven't seen his name pop up yet.
I just saw it again.
Oh, yeah. It was in her comment.
Right. He just infiltrated my show.
Yep.
God, dang it. You guys.
Edwin says, you've probably been asked this many times, but I need to ask again. Your thoughts on Bret Hart?
I like Bret. We all have, and I respect his passion. I'll tell the story. I always appreciated the old timers. And for some reason, the old timers would gravitate towards me because I think I reminded them of the older years, But Mr. Hart, Stu Hart, was so nice to me every time I saw him. He took time with me and used to talk to me and made me feel like $1 million. And Bret, he's always been kind to me, and I like him too. We had some really good matches together. We did some cage matches around the loop one time we were in Detroit, and the Detroit Red Wings were playing next to us at whatever arena. We were at the other one, and we still sold out. So we had some epic drawing matches. So, but I do tell a story, and I think this bothers Bret. It bothers me when anyone talks to themselves in the third person. And when we were talking over a match one time, it was me, him, and Sean. And I only got into situations like this a couple times. One with the Ultimate Warrior, believe it or not, Stan Hansen. I'll tell that story, but where the other refs would be looking at you, go, "Hey, remember what we used to do?" I was like, "Huh?" And so Bret was like, "Well, guys, I don't know if that's really good for Bret Hart." And I was thinking, "What? Are you kidding me?" But again, that he did a heck of a job. He was well as his craft, and so you can't fault the guy for something that simple.
Yeah, that shows passion. It definitely shows passion.
Yeah, it does. Again, almost passionate, almost like a female. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. No, he had passion. You like Jim Cornette, you have to respect that. And again, that was in his life. That's his life,
Yeah, exactly.
And I do respect that. And again, his father was such a great guy to me, and I had every time I was in Calgary, I always looked forward to going there.
That's cool. Connor says, "Hey Sid, big fan from Ireland. What's your opinion on Vince Russo?"
I've said the same thing. Vince is a pretty nice guy to me. I think he was a nice guy. That's it. He wasn't anything special in this business. He never did anything special in this business. He killed a territory. And I'm not saying this to be mean to him. This is pretty much the truth. He just did a few small little articles in the magazine. And then they came up with that stuff from Jerry Springer, and that's when they started doing pretty good. But trust me, it never was ever ever just Vince Russo, okay? Because if Vince didn't like it, it didn't happen. Trust me. And when he went to WCW, if that's not a clear-cut case, here it is. You got everything in the world, and you fail that miserably. He was a good guy, and that's it.
He needed someone to bounce off of. Like that was
Right.
He was good.
Well, this is the thing is, Rob, I was there. I even told Bill Bush, I thought they were purposely doing that because I thought no one could be this bad. And I remember he hit the kayfabe sheets. I remember having Bill Bush in the hallway one day. I said, everybody said I was screaming at Bill Bush. I wasn't screaming. I said, Bill, do you realize you're being flam-flammed? He looked at me and said, Sid, what is flam-flam? I said, bullshitted, Bill. I said, no one could be this terrible. And that's what he said. Well, Sid, we need you to do everything they're asking because as long as you're doing everything, everybody else will do everything. And I was thinking, yeah, tell that shit to somebody else. But again, it was just, man, it was just wow. Because it's crazy bad, you know.
Let me see here. Philip says, Sid, are you Irish?
I'm Irish, Scottish, German, and Afro-American.
You got it all.
Yep.
Terry said Scott Hall said he loved Bret Hart, but after hanging out with him at his house was creeped out by him because he had Bret Hart shrines of himself everywhere and posters of himself on his ceiling. I think he is a top 5 of all time, but Sean might have a point on his ego. I think he meant Scott.
Yeah. I've heard that too. And I'd said that. I think we'll agree that was the deal. He really had an ego, like wanted to be more popular than he actually was. To me, I didn't care for that stuff, but it was important to some people. But not even in the top 5. Okay, you're wrong about that. Whoever said that. When you're talking top 5, you got to put not just because you were a world champion, that you were a money drawer across the board with everybody you worked with. Honestly, Bret wasn't that. I would leave it like that.
I know if I look at it, I could consider top 10 getting him in there. But yeah, top 5, I would 5 different people. Like,
yeah, man. I just no, top 5, no, maybe top 10. But now, if it all depends what you're asking, you know. I don't know what the question is. Top worker, no. Top draw, no. Not even the top 10 of any of those categories, you know.
Yeah. Let me see. Brian's got a question. Sid, were you ever offered any movie roles when you were wrestling?
I was offered a couple. I actually was offered the one Kevin Nash got when he played Super Shredder in the Ninja Turtle movie.
That's right.
Yeah. Actually, it was one I'm probably glad I didn't get. They said you had to wear this big head thing and it wasn't any fun. So, and I'm claustrophobic already, so I'm glad I didn't have to do that.
Yeah, well, yeah, that helmet. Let me see here. Lloyd says, hello. On the internet, I've often seen fans state that Brock Lesnar is the Sid Vicious of his era. What's your opinion of Brock, and do you feel the same way the fans do when comparing the two of you?
Well, I think we're always looking to compare people to, and you know, I think Brock and I both have that rigid look, you know, the square jaw. It's just the only thing is I'm so much bigger than he is, you know, physically, especially in that time. But he definitely, you could say he was the Sid Vicious of this era. I think at one time there was probably no one any more dominating than he was. As a wrestling character because of his MA stuff. So definitely he was up there.
I found he had a bigger push before he even left to do MMA. You know, when he came in originally, he was the next big thing and he was just all over everybody.
Yeah, but I think once he came back, to me that's when he was over. When they were doing that Suplex City, they were doing those really cool vignettes of him coming into these things like that. Rob, where you at, man?
Apparently
get your ass off the curb, man.
That's about it.
Wow, that's a hurting thing. You don't know any. You are dumb, Rob. What do you got your head in like yesteryear of wrestling? Get off of that.
I haven't, other than the AEW thing we do, I haven't watched wrestling since maybe
I
02.
could tell. And you actually wrestled at one time. That's
Yeah.
disappointing.
Briefly. Very
No,
briefly.
I know.
Edwin,
Rob, you're the reason of COVID. You're like the COVID of wrestling.
is that
So what happened was
Whoosh.
they said
Everybody's
in
gone.
Canada, they go, it was a big spy plot deal that Canada was doing against U.S. And they thought, okay, we're going to kill wrestling, and we got to find someone to do it. And they said, we got the guy, Rob Bellamy.
There we go.
And just before you were about to get your debut in AEW, COVID hit.
Mm-hmm. That's
So-
exactly what happened.
What happened, man? Wow.
My-
You know what it is? I heard someone tell me a character they were thinking about. Tell me what you think about this. He's talking about doing a character that he was a Broadway person who had lost their way on Broadway. And so he had to become professional wrestling to get back to Broadway. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
That would be an interesting gimmick. That would,
What's he going to be? He says he's going to be the Phantom of the Opera. And he's got a really cool name too. It's like something cool. He's already got all this. It's pretty cool.
no,
For what's going on today, it would be a cool idea.
no doubt. I think I told you the very first gimmick that was given to me was a Scoutmaster.
Oh,
And it's like, I'm not walking to the ring with little children. It's just not going to happen.
oh man, that would have been a fun character.
Edwin says, funny thing here. I remember when you signed something at an autograph signing and you threw it back at me. My girl at the time said, "You're going to take that from him?" I looked at her and said, "Have you seen the size of this man? He can throw whatever he wants at me. What am I going to do?" Oh, that's awesome.
That is awesome.
Let's see if we got a couple more we can grab here. You
Oh, let me tell you a story, a dinner story, everyone.
sure?
How it was around the Udi house on a regular night for dinner. All right, I was telling someone the story today. My stepfather, who was a really cool guy, he taught me how to hunt. Really nice guy. Was one of these guys that you don't meet many people like this guy. Never raised his voice, never frowned. Just a silent assassin. You know, he was in the Marines, a boxer. Just people like that are the people you're scared of because they'll hurt you. And I remember one night at dinner, his brother came. His brother was like this tough guy, drove the hot rods and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And at dinner, you got to realize this is the scene. At dinner, we did not raise our heads until it was gone. Because at dinner time, if you moved or raised your head, I might got your food. And I did that to my sister all the time. I remember once Bobby would eat slow. And eating at our table, you didn't get meat. You didn't get seconds of meat, okay? So then I'd eat real fast, and she'd be just get hers all together, and I'd go. And she was always a little overweight. I'd go, Bobby, are you going to eat all that? So she'd push her food forward, and then and then she only fell for that once. So that's my point. We ate. When we didn't talk, we ate. And I remember one night, this was a normal night around the house. Clifford came in acting like James Dean. And Travis asked him, says, "Hey, Clifford, are you taking Mom's prescriptions?" He's drinking a Coke or so he goes, "Hey, man, none of your business." And Travis, without saying a word, got up, goozled Clifford, and threw him into the wall and knocked him out cold. And he sat back down and went back to eating. Now, my sisters never raised their head from eating, okay? I looked over and watched Clifford laying on the floor, right? And we just kept eating. And finally, he came to, and it's like, he looked around like, what's going on? He goes, wow, everybody's eating, and I'm laying on the floor. And Travis is sitting right there and eating. I never said a word to him. So Clifford, you can tell he's trying to put two and two together. When you come, conscious like that, you don't know what happened. So then he runs out the door, sort of sobbing a little bit. And so later on that night, I ended up finished eating. So I go down the hall to look what had happened, and there were 3 holes in the wall. One where his head hit, and 2 where his heels hit.
Oh, heels.
Dude, I'm telling you, it was like Friday the 13th. But Travis, when he said, "Hey, man, it's none of your business," Travis like grinned and said, "Oh, yeah?" And boom, pow! And Travis was so fast, man. he looked like James Dean with muscles. You know
Oh,
what I mean? Yeah, he was really cool. Hell of a musician and artist. Taught me how to play. Cool guy. Just a really cool guy. But that was a night at the Udi's house.
Nice.
Yeah,
Dinner and a
man.
show.
Yeah, exactly, man.
All right. Let's see if
And
we-
this what I told too. So that night when that happened, I remember looking over for just a second because I wasn't going to get away from my food either. I looked over and saw Clifford laying there. I looked back when I did. It was like there was a haze. I saw my sisters bending over eating, and every once in a while you would just see like a scrap of food sort of come up and come down. It was pretty fun to watch.
oh man, that sounds hilarious.
I know, right?
Let's see if we can grab
It's
a
called
couple-
creative nonfiction, Rob.
right. Exactly.
Right, exactly.
There we go. Here's one from Tom. Sid and Rob, how are you guys doing with your fitness goals? And Sid, how are your workouts going in the gym?
Man, my workout's the best they've. I never could have dreamed I could have be back what I'm doing right now. After a couple of years ago, my knee doing it what it did. This is what happens, people. You don't have to have surgery. They said I need a knee replacement. I'm doing everything I want to it. Now I'm squatting. I'm doing leg press. I'm not killing myself doing it, but I'm doing it. So, man, and I'm doing good on my diet right now. Everything's hitting on all 8 cylinders.
Nice.
Power cleaning, deadlifting. I won't do that again.
No.
Dude, no, man. I'm not. It's not worth it. What is it? It's just a different pull. And man, it still affected me a little bit.
So you need one of those bench presses like Tom where it's got the guide and just
Yeah, I need exactly. But I'm doing my power cleans in that very machine, Rob. Thank you.
I have a co-host, I guess. I have my head in the yesteryear of wrestling, 80s rule.
Yeah, there you go, CC.
Thank you. Let me see here. Okay, one more here. Sid, what do you think of Dave Meltzer saying you had the worst punches in the business and awarding you worst at promos for 99? I didn't hear
You
that.
know, I don't know Dave Meltzer. For some reason, he had a hard on for me since I was at Lord Humongous. I do not have the worst punches in the business. He's stupid, first of all. Thing is, I very seldom ever punched people because I thought it was exposing the business. If I punched you, I prefer to punch you in the chest where I can hit you, okay? I very seldom punched to the head. I didn't like doing that. But now Dave Meltzer and I was pretty good at karate. I could bring everything to stop. So it wasn't that I didn't do punches. I just didn't believe. I thought they were exposing the business.
Well, yeah, I know.
Now you're going to say, now listen real quick, Rob. So when I slapped the shit out of somebody, you're going to say that didn't look good? Dave, you're an idiot, okay? You got a job because you're an idiot. Pretty simple, man.
I have always been on the fence with Dave Meltzer. Some things are good that he writes, but others it's like, are we watching the same show?
You know what? I'm going to tell you something. I tell people this today. I have never, ever looked at a kayfabe sheet. Never looked at what anybody has written about me. I was told that from Robert Fuller, and I don't need that. If I have to look for someone who we know don't know anything about this business other than what he thinks he knows, never drawn a dime, and I know that's an old cliche that's used against him all the time, you can't say shit about anyone. Again, Dave, I'm going to let my work speak for itself.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You ask some of those guys that took those stiff slaps, and that's why I slap people, everyone, because I wanted people to believe in me, and that's why people did believe in me, and that's why people like Dave Meltzer, there's got to be some type of motive there, kissing someone's ass to have this continue hard on for me that he's had since I was Lord Humongous.
Well, and see, that's what I keep looking at. Like you talk about the believability. Literally,
Right.
man of your size, if you punch somebody, they
Right.
would be like Travis sitting on the floor.
Exactly.
So,
Like Clifford.
or Clifford, sorry, it was Travis
Yeah.
that did the
Yeah, exactly. But you're exactly right. That's the thing is, when people like Travis and a couple of people I know, those people what I call have a lean to them, meaning something special. Where, those people they don't say the word fight, they don't talk about fighting, they just fight. And those are the people, again, like I say, those are the people you look out for, not people like Dave Meltzer.
Yeah. All right, let's grab one more question here from Brian. Sid, when you worked for the WWF, how much notice would you get about whether you would be winning or losing in a big show? Was it Vince who told you?
You know, honestly, I never asked those things until I got there. I did not care. I did not know who I was working with almost all the time. I never looked at a booking sheet, never read a kayfabe sheet, never looked at a wrestling magazine. I swear, it just, that did not appeal to me. I love the business, but I'm not going to read a bunch of fake stuff. You know, it's good for the fans, but no.
Gotcha. All right. Any last words, Sid?
No, I tell you, let's see. I heard today Joe Biden's speech of what we had, 50 million vaccines or 500 million or something like that. But they said 50 million. That's a really cool thing to hear. But they also said that this thing hasn't gone away. He said, and this is what he said. You'll see it all over media. He said, for God's sake, wear a mask. And that's what we got to do still. This thing hasn't gone away. I saw a guy in the store today without one. No, I don't like wearing one either. But and look, I'm not trying to tell you, but it does help. And if it does help, let's stop this thing. And this right now, we know that mask wearing, they're saying this to every expert, it's even more effective than vaccines. Because if we can stop it, that's how we can slower the transmission and we can get it to herd immunity. As long as there's new cases, we're not going to get there. And now this thing is mutated to 2-3 more viruses. And now they're saying these vaccines might not work. Dude, man, I'm telling you, I thought, and I'll be honest, I told you the other day, Rob, I thought maybe we were wrong that we thought too much about this, or that this wasn't as serious as it is. Now I'm back out and I'm going to the gym, but I'm not going to tell anybody else to do that. I've got my mask on. Anyone who gets close to me, I'll pull it up. You know, even being stopped up, I just try to stay away from people. People know that in there, and nobody's wanting to come close to me anyway. So that's what it is. We got to just get past this. Just like, again, talk to Sally. She knew someone died of that yesterday. Already, I know somebody again who's died of that. So it's there, man. We just got to stop it. 500,000 people, everyone, in the U.S. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Stay home. Just slow it down. And on that, we'll let that go. I don't want to be a politician anymore. I'm glad this election is over. I think Joe Biden is still way too old for being president. He really looked really weak today. But I like his style. I like what he's doing. I like him. I like what he's doing about climate change. And you have to take, I guess, the bad with the good. I don't believe a lot of the other things. Some of it's maybe, I don't know. But again, some of it is good. So right now, I'll take climate change and worry about the next president when they come around.
That sounds good. Alrighty. Thanks again, Sid.
Thank you, Rob, and everyone. If God's willing and the sun don't shine, or is it the sun? What is God willing?
Creek.
Yeah, the creek don't rise and God's willing, or God's willing, the creek don't rise. We'll be back here next time on the Vicious Circle. Rob, thank you. Everybody, thank you for joining in tonight. God bless.
You've been listening to the Vicious Circle podcast. Your host, Sid Udi. Co-host, Rob Bellamy. Additional research by Pete Marsh. The Vicious Circle podcast is produced by Two Cousin Road Trip Productions, a division of JX3 Media Productions. The intro music is Unleash the Giants by Cemetery Spawn, and the outro music is Digging Space by Mike Treblecock.